In this video, we're going to do a 90-second advanced edit inside of Lightroom just to retouch this image a little bit from where we got it in the last tutorial, which was our 10-second video to get it to this point. So remember in the last video, we did in 10 seconds, we got it to our signature color effect. Now, what I'm noticing in this image is that there's a little bit of places on the skin that are kind of overly saturated. We have a little bit too much contrast maybe up here. We have a little bit of stuff on the chest that we can kind of smooth out and so forth. But let's say that I just want to digitally deliver these images, or I want to post them on the blog. My client hasn't yet ordered canvases or albums and selected this image for use yet. I wouldn't take this image into Photoshop until the client chooses the image to go into the album or chooses, like, say, a print product or a canvas product. And at that point, I would do my retouching inside of Photoshop because, frankly, you're going to get a better product inside of Photoshop and you got much more refined retouching tools there. But if we want to get it just to the point where it's deliverable and it's a great image, we can use these tools inside of Lightroom with the new, basically, retouch presets inside of the 2015 version of the Lightroom preset system to do a basic retouch on the image and get it to the point where it's really a solid image to deliver or to post on the blog and so forth. So let's go ahead and do that. So remember in the last tutorial we got it from this to this. Let's go ahead and we're going to create a virtual copy by pressing Control apostrophe or Command apostrophe if you're on a Mac. That way we just have basically a kind of fresh palette that we can start with, and we can compare the before and after of the retouched and the non-retouched version. Now with all of our advanced edits, we're going to do them in 90 seconds or less. So can I have 90 seconds up on the clock, please? Let me know when you got it. You got it? All right, let's go ahead. Let's get started here. So what we're going to do first is click on our brushes. I'm going to go down and we're going to select a skin softener first. And they're kind of in the order that we would typically apply these. Now you'll notice that I'm using my mouse because Lightroom's not necessarily precise enough of an instrument to require the use of a Wacom tablet, even though some of you might prefer using it. I save my Wacom for Photoshop and I use my mouse inside of Lightroom. With that applied right there, I'm going to hold down Alt or Option and click to and drag to the left or right to strengthen. So I'm going to the right to strengthen this effect just to nicely soften the chest a little bit. And that looks really nice right there. What I'm going to do now is click New so that we get a new skin softener. And then we're just going to bring this kind of just over the face a little bit. Okay, now I'm painting and making sure that I don't cover areas of detail like the eyes, the lips, and so forth. We'll go over the ear a little bit. We'll go over the chin. Just want to keep those. And then we'll also just kind of drag this and take it and bring it over her arm over here to the right. And we're going to leave this fairly subtle. I'm just going to pull this back a little bit. So holding down Alt or Option again, I'm clicking on the pin and dragging to the left this time to reduce the effect. So I'm reducing it by about 50%. This is essentially how we control opacity of these presets inside of Lightroom. Let's click New once again, and I'm going to go this time down to a skin desaturator. So these areas that are a little bit more saturated on our skin, I'm just going to paint this right over it to kind of just pull a little bit of the saturation out. Okay, so right underneath the chin there, maybe a little bit on the cheek there, a little bit on the shoulder, right there, that's great. And a little bit underneath the arm, and these shadow areas. That's great. I'm going to click New one more time. We're going to go down to a little lip enhancer. I'm going to zoom in, we're going to click, and we're going to drag this right over the lip, and right over the lip. Then I'm going to zoom back out by holding down spacebar and clicking to zoom in and out. We're going to pull this just a little bit to the right to kind of strengthen that effect. So let's go to the right to strengthen that lip enhancement effect. And then what we're going to do last is click New again. I'm just going to do a little tiny general enhancement on the earring. Perfect. That looks fantastic. And just make sure that if you paint it in areas that you don't want, of course, you hold down Alt or Option, and then you just paint it out of those areas. Okay, and we're done. Hopefully, I didn't pass my 90 seconds by too much. If I did, forgive me. I'll do better. Let's check out the before and the after of these two images. So I'm going to go ahead and go full screen. Let's turn out the lights. Let's turn out the lights. Select these two images. All right, now let's jump back and forth between these two. So here is that first version, and here is that retouch version. Okay. So you can see in like 90 seconds to 2 minutes, we basically made a very nice image just directly inside of Lightroom. And if we needed to in the future, when she orders a print or when he wants something blown up for a canvas or whatever it is, if they select this image, we'll take it into Photoshop to do the final steps inside of Photoshop to get it to really that refined point. And what I would probably do at that point is actually maybe start back with the previous version, just that color corrected version inside of Lightroom. And that's where I would take that, because I would want to basically do all of my retouch inside of Photoshop at that point. So I'll just go back to the color corrected version and then basically use that to get to the retouched image. Alrighty, we are done with this tutorial. Let's move on to the next one.